Okay, greetings. This is Edodo Jumbo. In this video tutorial, I'll show you how to create a cube explosion using Blender and the Python API. Before we begin, quick reminder that every day I'm hosting a live stream. So what you do is you visit ojumbo.com, then you go to the watch menu, live sub menu, and you can see the topics of the live stream. For example, this topic for this live stream is called Generate Blender Cube Explosion Animation Using Python. The channel it's going to be on and the day and time. And then you see here I have post-dated topics for upcoming live streams. So each of these articles at the beginning, it's going to have a little snippet to tell you the exact date and time. It's always going to be Eastern time. You're free to ask questions related to programming topics. And the channel, you just click here, you can log in and you can request topics, or you can ask anything you want. Obviously I said programming related. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Okay, so let's begin. So as you can see here, this is an animation of the explosion we're going to create today. It's just a cube and you see the explodes there. So Blender is a 3D creation software tool. It's cross-platform for all POS-type systems like Mac OS and Linux and BSDs, and obviously for Windows. It's written in C++ and Python. Python is great if you want to create extensions. I think in a future tutorial I'll maybe create some extensions. We use everything I've taught so far and create an extension. So what we're going to do for this one is you can use, for example, like the quick smoke effect. That one, we used that before to create the fire animation. However, for this particular tutorial, we're going to do something else. We have some code that we can use, such as the particle systems. But I'm saying is you can make explosions any way you want. So this would actually be a good addition to that previous tutorial. So basically, there's also the quick explode effect. We can use that one as well, and that's what you're going to use today. Basically, you subdivide whatever object, in this case they're going to be cube, then we tweak the explosion material settings, then you render out the animation, then you create your blend file. We can do all that in Python. So if you don't understand the Python API, basically, if you don't know what an API is, that's an application programming interface. Basically, just a set of rules or protocols that enable software applications to communicate with each other for data exchange. For example, in this case, you don't even need to touch Blender. You can just code everything in Python, and it will take care of, obviously, the way to connect to Blender is through the API. The UI, that's the graphical user interface. The Blender editors, this is one of those places where Blender has a scripting tab or menu where you can go and do that. But there's also editors. For example, there's a layout editor where you do your 3D modeling. You could actually, and then you have workspaces. For example, the VSC, that's the video sequence editor, that could be a workspace. And then there are areas. So within an area, it's divided up into other places where you can do multiple things at the same time. I'll show you that when we open up Blender. So to follow along for this tutorial, you do need a text editor. You can use an IDE. I've done recently a review on Apache NetBeans IDE, and also did one for Guinea as a Python IDE, a lightweight Python IDE. So those are pretty recent. You can look it up. You can also follow along. Just any text editor will do, as long as you can do Python on it. I recommend something with Python syntax, just help you. But if not, that's no problem. You can also use the Blender scripting tab to actually code it as well. So that's where now SSH, this is some of you might have Blender installed maybe on a remote server or a cloud somewhere. So to log in, I recommend use something as secure shell client. I personally use OpenSSH, but there are different clients out there. And shell access just means a command line. You drop down to the command line. That's all it means. Okay. So with that out of the way, I've already explained this, and it will show you all this stuff in the scripting editor. It does have syntax highlighting, some auto completion, smart indent, find and replace, and you can run your scripts there. So that makes it easy for testing. And I've already explained the scripting workspace. I'll show you that as well when we get to it. So the code for today, you can just expand this and copy it and use it. I'll show you what version. I'm using the latest version of Blender. I think it's 4.4.1. So if you want, it should work with the at least 3 and above. I haven't tested, but it should. Nothing has changed as far as I know since then. I'm using anything fancy. So you can see here for animation, you see it just starts like stripping stuff off. It's exploding. And then you see here in the scripting editor tab, this is what it looks like. You just paste the code. I need to take care of that for you. And obviously I make some tweaks. I change the material to give it a different color because the default gray is kind of a little bit boring. So you can tweak it and this is the video. This is a live video. So if you don't want to go to the log into that channel and do the chat, you can simply just scroll down and watch this video. For example, if I play it, because you can see it's live, like this is live. Okay, so Blender, obviously you do need to get Python, so you can get Python at python.org, and then Blender, you get it at Blender, at the Blender project. As you can see here, this is 4.4. I said I have a minor update, and then you can check what's new. You can just click download here. And then, as I said, for Python, you get it from the python.org, and that's here. You see you can download it. The latest version is 3.13.4. I'm not sure if I have that version, but mine is pretty close. We'll check it when I go to the command line. All right, now Blender is open source. Licensed under the GNU public license, version 2 or later. It's a copyleft license. Python is licensed under the Python Software Foundation license, which is a permissive license. Now, I just finished writing up a tutorial for the next license in the series, which will be the GNU public license. I'll explain them and why you might want to use them instead of the permissive license. So that's upcoming. Okay, now that out of the way, let's get out of here, and I'll show you the photo I have, the working photo for today. So as you can see, these are the tutorials we did in the past. So for today, as I said, we're going to create this cube explosion. So I'll play it for you here before we do it. You see that's basically what's going to happen. It's just going to explode. Now, I said this is just a simple to get started, a quick way, but I'm saying in the future we'll probably do something where something will hit it and it will explode. But for now, we just want to do something pretty simple. So with that, I created a file here called cubeexplode. .py. It's a Python file. It's an empty file. So I'm going to open it up what text editor should I use? You know what? I'll just open up in Guinea. Let me see here, and a new window. So you should be able to see it. Don't worry, I'll zoom in here so you can. Oops, wrong zoom. This is the one I want to zoom into. Oh, jeez. Oh, looks like it doesn't want to zoom in. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll take care of that later. Okay, anyways. So the first thing you always have to do is you have to import the Blender, whatever, what do you call it? The Blender Python module. So that's how you do it. I think I should be able to do it here. Okay, I think, can I open a new tab? No, I can't. Okay, it's not for some reason it doesn't want to zoom, but that's fine. Let's just continue here. So we import it, and then we set the frame rate. This way, we'll set it as a variable because we can do calculations this way. So I'll say FPS equals 30, and number of frames, I'll set them to 150. You can make it as big as you want, but 150 is fine. Then the first thing we want to do, we have to generate the effect. So to do that, it's simply ops.object.quick explode frame. So we start at frame 1, and then we end at frame and 51. So that's 50, it'll be 50 frames. So what we need to do then is subdivide. So y.ops.object, we enter edit mode. So then after that, what we do is we mesh dot subdivide. The reason you want to subdivide is so that you give it more material to work with. Otherwise, it will probably just be, when you do the explode, it will just be like four pieces. So that's why we subdivide, add the more pieces to it. And then subdivide the number of cuts. We set that to 5. You can make this bigger if you want. Next, we're going to tweak the effect. So we have to go to object mode. Let me make sure I save this. Edit mode. Toggle. Okay. I don't want this tutorial to go too long, so I'm gonna grab the particle settings. So the settings, I set the count to 250. I set the particle system, the seeds, to 125. Then I set the frame start at 10, and the frame end, it will end, which will be 150. And I'll explain this in a second. And then the effector weight gravity is 0.5. So you might be wondering, hey, this guy is only from frame 1 to 51, but you set it to 150. So basically what I'm saying is that when this animation starts, we don't start it right at the beginning. So what we'll do is we'll let the cube stay the same, and then after a while we start the explosion, and then when the explosion ends, we want some space to go until the end. So that's why it's set up like this. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set up the color. So this should be material tweak. Tweaks. So we set the base color to this, which is a greenish type color, and then we set the metallic. The metallic will give it a little bit of a shine. So because right now it's pretty boring, it will just be a very simple color. So we do that. Now this render settings, these are exactly the same as before, so I'll just copy them, but I'll explain them. So I turned down the, I think by default it's 32, so I turned down the EV render samples to 16. You see I set this transparent to true because I don't want a background, or I don't want the background. Now obviously if I want this to have be a transparent video, I would change this from H.264 to something like VP9 or AV1, which do have transparency, and obviously I would change this to either WebM or Mastroka. So as you can see here, it's going to be 1920 by 1080. I set the resolution to 100%. The FPS, remember the variable we created for FPS is 30, and then the frames 150. And then you see I called it cube explode. The / means it's going to be relative to where this file is. And image settings, FFmpeg, because it's a video, MP4, H.264, whatever. And there's no audio, so I set that to none. The constant rate factor medium, and the FFmpeg preset I set to real time, so this should be the fastest way to render out. And then here, you see here I set the animation to true, and so it will also animate. This code will also automatically animate for us, and it will save a file to call the file cube explode blend. Now before I do this, I'm going to come here and I'm going to delete this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to rename this one. So when this is, I'm going to rename it to 1. And I think we have a video out here. Yeah, so this is the video it created. I'm going to also rename this to 1. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to rename it to 1 here. So you will see it should, when we run this, it should create new stuff for us. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to close this. Go back to the command, then jump to the command line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this. So I'll zoom in here so you can see what's going on. So it's a blender, -b means background, p that's for the Python file, it's cube explode.py. So if we look here, you see it hasn't created yet, but it quit. They said there's something on what line number? Line number 8. So I made a mistake. Oh yeah. So line number 8, I'll go fix that. I'll show you here. Yeah, so this is the thing here. It should not be. Okay, so there we go. It should be underscore instead of hyphen. So let's run that again. Oops, another mistake. What line number is this? And oh, frame. This should be frame start. I'll show you that again. Underscore start. Okay, save that. Now 3 times should be the charm, right? Yeah, 3 times the charm. So it's going to take a while because it's 150 frames. As you can see, it's running a little bit slow. Yeah, you should be a little better. Yeah, you can see. So it's going to take a while because it has to do 150 frames. So whilst that's running, so that this tutorial can go a little bit faster, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this one, cube explode 1.blend, and show you what that looks like. Go, just wait. It's probably because I have so much stuff. Okay, hopefully the computer doesn't crash. So if we look at the settings, let's go to here. You see it's EV, and I have the that's not the one I want. I want the output. Yeah, you see it's 1920, 1080, 100%. You see the frame is set to 120. Frame rate is 30 FPS, and you can see it says cube explode. And if we go to encoding, not encoding. There we go. See it's FFmpeg. Sorry, MP4. And then we have H.264, and you see all this color depth, real time, and there's no audio. So here, the F file format is FF. You see, it's the FFmpeg video. And then for the transparency, I believe that's in this one here. Film, under film, you see you set the transparency to on. What else? Oh yeah, and then we can go to our materials. You see materials here. We're using the principled BSD, and we also did, what else did we do there? I think it's oh, there we go. It's going a little bit. I can't open that because I think yeah, there we go. I think it's gonna crash. Yeah, it's not letting me do anything. I might have to. Yeah, I think I'll just quit and wait for this guy. It's almost done, so it's almost 150. I'll wait for this to be finished in about any second now. Yeah, so it's done. Okay, so now that done, I'll open up the file so this way Blender doesn't complain. And you see it created the video. You see, it doesn't have a 1. So they've already played the video. I'll play it later, but I want to just show you the settings here. Okay, so we're rudely interrupted. We were, which one were we on? Oh no, we were on materials. I remember. See, under materials, the principal shader here. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. See the base color? Just click this, and this is how you set the base color. That was done by Python. And you see the metallic value is set to 0.5. You can also fool around with roughness to give it some type of, like a rough or matte type texture. And then here for our the constraints. Yeah, see the particle system here. You see you can change we change the number of the emission number. We change the number of the seed here. That's how you change all that stuff here. There's also a frame start. You can change that here. See frame start. We change that to 10, and then there's also the we set the frame end to the end, which was 150. So that's how we tweaked that. And you see it says the lifetime is 50. That was based on when we first created the quick explode. And to get the quick explode, you go to object and where is it here? Quick effects. And you see there's quick explode. Last time we used quick smoke. This time we used quick explode. So that's how we are able to do that. And also there was also a graffiti setting here. So is it under physics? Yeah, some of this. So we also changed the graphic setting here to what do we 0.5. The weight it's under the weights. We also changed that as well. And what else we did? We also I already showed you the material. Yeah, so that's it. And obviously you see right now you're in object mode. You can always tweak to go to. You see this is where we did the subdivides in edit mode and object mode. Here we are. Okay, and what else? Oh yeah, let's go back to this one. You see the samples. I set it to 16. The default is I believe 32, and I already showed you the rest. So that's it. Now to get to the scripting tab, you go here to the scripting, and you click new, and this is where you can paste in the code. So for example, if I copy that code and I just paste it in here, you see this is the same code, and you can just hit run. And then if you have any problems, you can see here to output. This is a Python console. You can actually do real Python there, and you can see other stuff here. So I'm not going to run this because it's already been run. The file's already been created, and you see not only did it render out, it also created the file. So this is one way you can use Python instead of having to do this. And you saw when I open this file up, because I'm using OBS for the screen recording, I'm using Blender. I'm also using Blender on the command line. So it was running out. I'm thinking about it to use the GPU or something. So you see it was running. It was having problems. It was about to crash. But so that's a good thing. For example, I was saying when I started this tutorial is that if you have like a render farm, you can just run everything on the command line, and then that way you don't have to open it up here because there's no need to do that. Okay, so to finish this up, we can run the video here. So the reason why there's more particles when it's exploding is because of, as I said, remember we did subdivide. So if you subdivide even more, there'll be more things for you. Okay, now with that out of the way, I think that's the end of this coding part of this tutorial. So I'm going to minimize this, and here I can just close this, and let's open up back up and finish up this tutorial. So quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. So what you do is you visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, live sub menu, and you can see here, this is the tutorial I've just done, almost finished up today. And you can see the channel it's going to be on and the date and time. And obviously these are topics for future live streams. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. If you enjoy this, consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses on ojamboshop.com. You can buy my programming books on Amazon. Search for Edward Ojambo, links in the description. You can hire me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. And you can also become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. The donate button is also up here in the fixed header. Okay, I don't see any chat requests, so I'm going to end this now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for subscribing. See you next time. Bye.